Here we are inside the eldest Majestic 135. If we firstly come to the main control panel just here, we will turn the 12 volt on just here. Once we've done this, we can then operate the top lighting just here on this switch. All other lighting is then individually turned on and off on their own switches. We then have the water pump this side. Whenever the water pump is running, the green light will come on to let you know it's in operation. The red one above will illuminate when the grey water tank needs emptying. We then have awning light on and off. On this dial here at the moment, it's showing us the voltage of the leisure battery, and if I want to know how much water is on board, we then hold the water button in and then we go by the blue gauge just underneath. Beneath, we then have the whale control panel for the heating and the hot water. So with this one, we have water heating here and heating here. All we do is we just press the button, and then as I press, we will go over a series of icons until we eventually end up back at off. So if we start with the first icon just here, wavy lines represent mains electricity. So I'm now heating up hot water using mains supply at about 1 kilowatt. Now main supply using about 2 kilowatts, so just dependent on the amperage of the site you're on to stop yourself from tripping. If we have no main supply, we can run on gas. Then we have dual fuel, so we have gas and mains at 1 kilowatt and gas and mains at 2 kilowatts. This particular setting is extremely handy, especially in the winter months if you want to get up to temperature nice and quickly. Whenever you are actually consuming gas, a little flame will appear here. If there's a problem in any shape or form, either on the mains or the gas, you will get a little red exclamation mark just appear here to let you know that it's failed. If you then press this button here, you will then get a series of little lights appear, and that will then let you know what the actual error is. If you then rectify the problem, you will still need to reset the control panel. So if it's an error for the water heater, we hold down this button first and then press this one and then let go, and then it will then clear the error down. And obviously if it's heating, we hold the heating button and then press the plus button to reset this one. Heating works very similar. Again, we will get a series of icons, this time one wavy lines, again main supply, but at about 500 watts. Two wavy lines about 1 kilowatt, and 3 wavy lines 2 kilowatts. We then have gas on its own, and then the dual fuel setting again. We then control the temperature on the plus and the minus. And again, when we are consuming gas, we will get a flame appear here again. Whale recommend dropping the thermostat all the way down to where the little picture of the moon is for night mode if you need your heating on whilst you're asleep. One, it's a low heat, but secondly, the fan will be quiet. And then lastly, if you just want the air to be circulated on a warm day, we can drop it down to the little picture of the snowflake, and obviously the fans will come on without any heat. If we now turn them back off again. Next we have the microwave. Do make sure that the plate etc. is all removed for travel. Obviously this will only work when hooked up to main supply, and it's plugged in just up here. This is an eco microwave, so you do have to hold the eco button in first to wake it up, and then it behaves like most microwaves. You have your quick start just here and stop, minute selection just here, defrost, etc. up the top there. The hob, we have one electric hot plate that runs again on main supply and operates just here. Red light comes on to let you know it's in operation, and then everything else is gas, so it is push in, twist, and then press the igniter just down here. Beneath, we then have the oven and the grill. Push in to the left for the oven, and then push in to the right for the grill. As we move along, we then have the fridge just here. We're currently running it on gas. To do this, all we do is we flick it to the gas symbol just here, and then come across the temperature control, hold it in, and then push the igniter, and then this line here will drift out of the white section into the green. As soon as you turn it to something else, it will then put itself straight back out again. So we have now selected 12 volt maintain, which will run off the engine battery when the engine's running to keep itself cold. We can run on main supply with a little picture of the 2-pin plug, and then go to off. We then have the fridge and the freezer box, and then we have the travel catch that then just comes across here. We can also put it into a secondary position to vent it when you're not using it. If we now drop underneath, we have the consumer unit just here. So we have all the individual MCBs all labelled up, the RCD and the test button just here, and then we have the 12 volt fuses again all labelled up just here. So if anything's not working either on main supply or 12 volt, this is your first port of call just to see whether or not something's tripped or a fuse is blown. If I now drop this one here, we can see the water pump just there, and then the majority of the gas isolation taps for the van itself. They are all in the on position and quite frankly can stay like that. I always say, smell gas in the van, go to the bottle and isolate it just there. Tucked right at the very back, we can see the whale boiler. To drain the boiler down for winterization, we have the drain valve just here. All we need to do is make sure the water pump is turned off and then flap it up like so. At the moment, obviously the water pump is on and it's now just frantically trying to refill it. So if I now put it back across again, the pump will now draw the water from the freshwater tank and reprime the boiler. Above my head, we then have the Omnivent fan to operate. First, just wind up the roof vent itself, and then you will then see we have the on button in the middle, and then we have arrows out for extraction and arrows in for cooling. Variable fan speed just by pressing. Do make sure that all the roof vents are then closed again for travel. Just here we have the PIR sensor for the alarm. It is advisable just to press this button every now and then just to check that it is actually working, as it is wireless and requires a couple of batteries. And then I suggest obviously checking the smoke alarm and carbon monoxide alarm as well. If we now move to the washroom, the light switch for the washroom is this one just here. We have basin just here, and then the shower just here. The Thetford cassette toilet. To open to the cassette, slide the grey lever across and then just press the flush button just here. Level indicator just here to let you know when the cassette needs emptying. Make sure that the cassette is then closed again. If this has not been closed, the cassette will not remove from the outside of the van. If we now come to the wardrobe, in here we have the solar panel regulator just at the back. We do not need to do anything with it. It will just smart charge both of the batteries as it's required. And then also in here we have the television aerial. So at the back here we have the digital amplifier. We turn it on and off just here and control the boost just here. And then we have the collar just up here that we then undo and then push up, so we can then get the television aerial into the position we require. Do not over tighten these collars because they will split. If we need to flip the aerial from the horizontal position to vertical for additional tuning, we just turn this part just here, and do make sure that the aerial is back down again for travel. We have the Avtex television just here, on and off just on this one here. We have DVD player on this side here, and then tucked up the top here we have USB points. As this is a travel television, and you will need to obviously retune it as you move around, it does have a fast retune button, which is just here. All we do is literally just hold it at the screen and it will then take us straight to the retune menu, and then you just hit OK. We then have all the normal stuff. We have the television guide just here. You will see on this bench seat here that I've already removed the cushions. Both sides of the bench seats can come up like so on gas struts, and then if we just want a very large storage space, we can also fold these parts down. You will see that we have levers just here. You do have to take the weight off them, so you do have to slightly lift it up and then push it in, and the same on the opposite side. And that will then allow us to fold it away. So we end up like this. We can see the back of the battery box just here. There are two fuses here. One will be the main 25 amp fuse for the 12 volt system, and the other one is for the solar panel. You will also see here that this is the tank heater relay. On this particular model of van, it has automatic tank heaters fitted to the water tanks. If this is turned on, just down here, if there is water in the tanks and the temperature drops below 3 or 4 degrees, those tank heaters would all automatically come on to prevent frost damage. To make the front single bed, we just need to remove the small table just here, just by undoing both of these two knobs. And then what we need to do is then pull this across like so. Then we need to get our grey infill just here, and then pop this in. There we go, get it around the right way. So we end up like this. We would then remove this one. We then have this smaller infill here that just fills the hole up, just basically for the driver's seat. And then we then pop the topper on last.